It's unfortunate. I'm not sure there are many other industries other than the world of fitness, and you can probably come up with some examples, but that marketing is so powerful. In other words, it can be away from the science, it can be away from what actually works over, again, in a sustainable way. But it's so powerful that people, pick up on it, and that's what they do. And the fitness world, almost like no other, has these trends. And it just cycles through. And if you've been around long enough, you quickly see there's nothing new under the sun. It's like this is just another version of what came out in 1989. Anyway,
Right.
it's comical yet sad. So I get frustrated sometimes in that you know a marketer or a really good marketer would be ahead of us, if you want to call it that, because they're a good marketer. And so that's one of the struggles that we have is, I don't think anyone on our team is naturally like a good marketer. So, things like this do help though, to just kind of get the message out and hopefully spread a good word of, hey, check out what is going on because, I think it's a different enough approach where again, I know some of the listeners probably already somewhat adopt a high intensity training lifestyle and a paleo lifestyle because Anthony's been kind of, sending that message out for a while now. But I think that unfortunately we're still, especially in the health and fitness world, just smashed by all these like awful trends, awful gadgets, and people still believe that crap, which just baffles me sometimes.
Well, I think what's interesting, or the probably one of the coolest things, is what I've seen with you guys. Because, like I said, the first time I saw it was in 2009 or 2012,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just seeing the company grow, seeing the skill set grow. Man, you've always had great trainers around you, but man, it's more and it's more obvious. So it's weird, to measure yourself by the outside world in any industry that can get exploited, much like health and fitness,
Yeah.
and to have a progression is really that natural flow. And man, that's the other thing too, is like when we, hey, maybe we should talk about the entrepreneurship because
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
what has kept you, when did that bug get set off in you?
Yeah.
Because you said at first weight room, you dug that, you had
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
well, you still
Yeah. I
have
mean,
passion, but
yeah. No. Yeah. And again, don't get me wrong. I'm a pretty laid back guy, and it's hard to really see me, fluctuate emotions very much. My kids might tell you different, but but yeah. I mean, I think. I'll try to kind of trace some steps back. I grew up with strength training literally all around me. My dad and I had a kind of work together, and we got a lot of help. But we had a garage, or I shouldn't say garage. It was actually a physical wood structure, like a barn, that we converted into a gym when I was growing up. So that was my playground, quite literally. And that was the first. I don't know if you want to call it Zen-like moment, but like I'm slightly introverted. I'm kind of right in the middle between introvert and extrovert. But what energizes you as an introvert is being alone. And that time in the gym and my formative years of growing up in the backyard gym is really what just kind of did it for me. I'm like, wow, there's something special here. And maybe it wasn't until maybe athletic endeavors that I kind of realized like, oh, that shit was really helpful. But
right.
it really didn't even matter. Like it didn't matter about a blue ribbon or whatever. It was just that time really was special. And so, then there was a lot of me that just was like, well, yeah, athletes do this all the time, but like, can the normal guy do this? Can the normal person do this? So there was that fuel of like, how do you bring this to just kind of the regular guy? And so, I went to University of Texas. I've been here in Austin ever since. It's a hard place to leave. You probably can vouch for
Yeah. Yeah.
that. And had many years of debauchery and a lot of fun here. But when I cleaned up my act, I did finally graduate and got hired on by the university in the athletics department. And looking back, a lot of it was actually business skill development. In '97, they took a big turn towards let's make this a business. They trademarked their logo at UT. They did a lot of things that are very business oriented, which looking back was great experience for me, just kind of being around some of that. And what was frustrating was seeing what was going on in the weight room. I just I was a little frustrated. I don't have to go into great detail, but I just knew that working for athletes or with athletes is fun in some ways, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I think the fulfillment didn't come because one, I have that kind of entrepreneurial bug, if you will, and a university is a bureaucratic environment, which I can't stand. And then two, the people that you're serving, if you will, I don't know, maybe they're just not appreciative enough of kind of what their genetic hand is in life. And, you know, maybe an athlete's a bit of an entitled egoist sometimes.
Sure.
You know, that's okay. But it's like the people that don't have a great genetic hand or might have some kind of debilitation or something along those lines. Those people are really fun to work with, and we work with. I mean, I think it's 75 to 80% of the people that come into efficient exercise have something, as we call, some level of brokenness, rotator cuff, knee, back, hip, whatever it is. So they have something going on. So in Austin, that is one of the ways we're kind of known as, hey, we can work around kind of whatever your issue is. So I think going into the entrepreneurial side is I knew I couldn't stand, you know, being in a bureaucracy, if you will, and being in that type of everything takes forever to make change. So I started, looking back, I'm kind of laughing at myself. I was basically using the UT facilities in an illegal way. I'll say that now. I was training people in the facilities that weren't a part of the UT system. So anyway, put it out there. Come get me. But I was doing that and realized this is more what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people that were outside of the athletic sphere, if you will. And so started at my first place in Northwest Austin, and I still live right around it. But anyway, it was very small, very humble beginnings, if you will. And like you said, none of our places are that giant. It's not, think big box gym, and it's kind of the antithesis of that. We're way different than that. We're much smaller. We're trying to make it a more personal approach. And that was one of the fires for starting the way that we did. Is I felt like there's so many people that probably hate the gym. Well, why not come see a business like us? So, yeah.
Well, that was the man. Gosh, Anthony will kill me, but the guy that started Nautilus, his whole approach. Yeah.
Arthur Jones. Yep.
Yeah, his whole approach was to change the way that you could experience fitness, which is now the norm.
Yeah.
Before it was like weights, hot area. Like kind of an oppressive environment. And he was like, no, man, we could have machines that are safe, that anybody can do in an air-conditioned environment so that everybody could have health. But you guys are taking it a step further, and I think that's interesting because in your business model, you're kind of like a boutique of...
Yeah, I guess you will. I mean, Arthur Jones was definitely an influence in my world as well. And just a real quick backtracking, my father, who is an internist, went to school with Ellington Darden. They were high school classmates, and so
that guy's a personality.
Yeah. So he was one of Arthur's right hand men. Jim Flanagan. There were several of them. So I kind of knew about all that stuff, but I was in a smaller town in Texas, and there was not a Nautilus gym. One finally did come, and my eyes were wide open. I was like, wow. So this is what I've been hearing about. This is kind of the experience, if you will. So that definitely played into my formative years. I went from backyard gym to that. I think they, again, business owners and gym owners oftentimes are dunces when it comes to business, but I think it failed at some point. And so then we had to, I had to scrap around for where I was going to work out after that. But no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with some guy that saw something and did something right in many ways. He was directionally accurate. Again, I'll say that. I mean, now we know some of the research and some of the things that he was speculating might not have been entirely correct, but that's okay. For his time, he was definitely an innovator. And really, since that time, I haven't seen a whole hell of a lot come out that's very innovative in our world.
Yeah. And so you guys, I mean, one of your business models for efficient exercise was to make, it has this feel that it is very clinical, extremely personal, and very high tech.
Yeah. And I think the clinical, we want to be clinical, but not come off so stark, if you will.
Right. Totally.
Like Ken Hutchins really drove home, kind of this clinical approach to exercise, and I was Super Soul certified back when. And again, I always try to see the good in a lot of systems, a lot of people, whatever. And there was some good in that. I mean, he was a systematic guy, maybe to a fault in some ways, but he still drove home a lot of these kind of exercise is medicine type of principles that we still try to implement, but yet we don't have to do it in a white lab coat under fluorescence. Right. It's nothing on the walls and no personality. People are people like other people, and that's one of the ways that we've thrived as well. Is I feel like our people are good. You know, they're good people, or they're good-hearted people. So I think that's, aside from the fact that they know what they're doing, you know, you got to be a relatable person. And if you can't talk to people, you're probably not going to have much success as an efficient exercise trainer. So, yeah.
Man, this is you know, when I went to the last 21 convention that was in 2014,
Yeah.
a lot of the guys there, this was a huge thing, were focusing on business, how to set it up, how to structure it. And you have found progressive people. I mean, like,
Yeah.
man, people that are doing amazing things. I mean, Paleo
Yeah.
FX is on the map
Yeah.
of, I mean, it's just such a huge event.
Yeah, yeah. Which, quick plug, I mean, definitely check it out, paleofx.com, and look at the event in April in Austin. It's so worth it. It's again, it's one of those things, until you experience it, you don't really know kind of how great it is. So,
Right.
yeah, sorry for interjecting there.
No, no problem.
Yeah.
How is it that you found such great people? Because, man, I mean, that is just, that makes your job so much easier. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
As an entrepreneur, that's extremely difficult.
I mean, I can kind of go back to key people in the business sphere.